Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to the Lazer Grand Arena. It is time for the winners finals here between Amamya Kokoro and FlyingTuna. It's been a long road for these two players through the winners bracket and the single elim early on, starting from round of 32, all the way up into the quarters and semifinals for both of them. Putting up some very good scores and performances for both of these players in those semifinals matches. And as I was talking about it earlier on in the before the cast with my wonderful co-caster here, should be a very good matchup between two players who are relatively similar in skill set. I'm Dio. I'm joined on this match by the one and only Doomsday.
What's up, Dio? This one's set up to be very close, and with this format, the close matches have been pretty intense. This one, we were talking about it just before the cast. It's almost like these two are basically the same player. They do have some divergences in skill set somewhat, but there's so many maps on this pool that there's going to be barely anything between these two. And I imagine these two know each other very well, of course, played alongside each other, against each other a lot. This should be a well thought out match and a very close one, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Those slight divergences in skill that you're talking about, we've kind of narrowed it down a little bit to maybe Amamya has an edge on some of the hard rocks. FlyingTuna has an edge on the DTs, at least the speed-focused ones, and Amamya has an edge on the stream maps, especially long stream stamina. But aside from that, both of these players are very good aim players. Both of these players are very good alt and tech players. Both of these players are very good reading players and hidden players. Both of these players are really, really solid at everything else in the pool in ways that are very similar to each other. So kind of as expected here, an early speed ban for Amamya Kokoro. FlyingTuna has been grinding the speed for quite some time. And then once again, a hard rock ban for FlyingTuna, not wanting to let any of those hard rocks through. So it's kind of what we expected in FlyingTuna. There it is. First pick, Dark by Crymek. Doomsday, you were saying, dropped 800k earlier in the weekend. Amamya Kokoro has dropped 450, 500k both times. So that should be a very, very good first pick for FlyingTuna.
Yeah, and I guess unless Amamya Kokoro has really got his speed going, yeah, FlyingTuna is going to be very happy about opening up with that. But there is that No Mod 2 open for Amamya Kokoro. He's not going to go straight into it. He's going to go double reading. So that's two contested sorts of maps straight off the bat from Amamya Kokoro. He's performed extremely well on both of those maps already, though.
Yeah, they're good picks, of course, but FlyingTuna, not bad at the reading by any stretch. So we'll see exactly how much of an advantage Amamya Kokoro can eke out on those maps. FlyingTuna, once again, another double time pick. Not any real surprise there. You also almost expect Amamya Kokoro to just ban out the DT4 as well after this. But FlyingTuna with the first ban here, going to be taking out the Nomad Hard Rock one, excuse me. Again, just double banning out those Hard Rocks, and not too surprising, again, given that FlyingTuna probably doesn't want to play against somebody like Amamya Kokoro, who was top 3 in a Hard Rock only tournament earlier in the year, and just generally very, very good on the Hard Rock. So a little surprising to not see him pick into it early on, especially kind of feel like a lot of the rest of the pool is kind of contested. Nomad 1, DT4 are the bans for Amamya Kokoro now here. Bad Boys Missa in Nomad 1 and String Theocracy in the DT4, so won't be seeing either of those. And one more ban for Tuna. Have to imagine it's either the Nomad 2 or that last Hard Rock in Grin.
FlyingTuna's already posted a very good score on Grin, but yeah, FlyingTuna will not want to play Hard Rock, especially not against Amamya Kokoro. Totally agree, but there goes No Mod 2. So another stream pick is taken out of the pool for Amamya Kokoro. Gotta say, this ban phase I think is going very well for FlyingTuna. He's got his good maps on the board. I think some of Amamya's good maps have been taken out here.
I agree. I definitely would have liked to see the Nomad 2 and the Hard Rock 2 earlier on for Amamya Kokoro, or, well, obviously the Hard Rock 2 first banned out, so maybe the Hard Rock 1 there. But definitely would have wanted to see the Nomad 2 earlier on with Amamya Kokoro dropping 800k twice on that map so far. That's an incredibly good score. So FlyingTuna, I think, very happy with how this has played out. Hidden 1, the next pick for Amamya Kokoro, going into more of the Hiddens. FlyingTuna going into the Nomads once again. So double hidden pick so far for Amamya Kokoro, clearly preferring that one. And FlyingTuna saying, all right, let's go into the Nomads then. And another Hard Rock 3 and now Hidden 3 ban, actually, for Amamya Kokoro. So not wanting to deal with that last remaining Hidden. And, of course, FlyingTuna banning out the entirety of the Hard Rock pool, leaving us with only the Nomad 4 as the last pick tiebreaker between these two players.
Oh,
one of the most toss-up skill sets in the game between these two in particular. Tech Nomad. Slider Tech and aim-controlled Nomad is a tiebreaker between these two. Honestly, couldn't have written a script for a better tiebreaker between Amamya Kokoro and FlyingTuna, so I'm very happy, just as a caster and spectator, with Nell being tiebreaker here.
A lot of control going into this between these two. It's going to be spicy to watch. Tuna picking that ult pick as well, the number 3, that Kobochi tune, into Amamya Kokoro is interesting because, you know, that's going to be a good one for him as well. I think those last 3 maps are proper toss-ups. If this is really close by the time we get past that absolute castaway DT, those last few maps are going to be very intriguing.
I think it all depends on how well both FlyingTuna and Amamya Kokoro can amass score lead for themselves on their first 2 picks. Because as you said, DT maps have been very, very good for FlyingTuna. So Amamya Kokoro, if he can match that kind of a score gap on the reading maps as the first couple of picks, I think should do very, very well for himself here. And here we go, into the very first pick. 213 BPM Nomad for this 1.2 rate up map. The Dark by Crimec, mapped by Fergus. It's breakcore at 256 BPM, and that's really all you need to know. Lazer, of course, DT does not have to be 1.5x. It can be other rate ups like 1.2, what we have here. And already you're seeing the speed grind paying off for FlyingTuna and Amamya Kokoro struggling. And Doomsday, this is already looking real good for FlyingTuna.
Yeah, 97%, sitting pretty, the early FC. Amamya Kokoro trying to hold on, he's down by 10% of AC, and that is a lot of score that Tuna's got over him. I say, opening up with the speed, especially if your opponent might not be quite set. I think in this format, you absolutely have to be warm right off the bat, because you can get nuked on the first pick if you're not careful. But this is the perfect start for Tuna.
Yeah, does find a miss a little bit later on here, and now no longer on the full combo. There is combo advantage for Amamya Kokoro right now, but that accuracy means that it's not going to matter too much here. Already 140,000 score lead for FlyingTuna as well. So Amamya Kokoro would really have to turn it on here in the last third of the map. Another 45 seconds to go. Not even a third left in this one. And FlyingTuna just way out ahead at the moment. So looking very good on the speed first pick here. Won't be the full combo, but very, very comfortable and secure in the victory on this first pick. And again, if you're just tuning in and you haven't seen this format before, players draft all the maps at the beginning, and then cumulative score is the win condition. So it's not just, oh, FlyingTuna takes a point. It's FlyingTuna wins the point by 200 and probably 50,000 points or so by the end of it here. 231,000 point lead for FlyingTuna after the first pick. So very solid start here for FlyingTuna. And honestly, the hit graph tells the entire story there. Right in the middle for FlyingTuna, and off a little late for Amamya Kokoro, just a little bit speed gapped on that map.
He matched his top score from the previous times that popped up in his earlier matches, so he's at least managed to match that. So I suppose that's actually not too bad for Amamya Kokoro going into 2 of his picks. And if you can make these reading maps work, and he's performed extremely well on them already, 200k, you can claw that back. But it's a great start for Tuna, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have a pop-off score on something like Mad Piano Party here, this is one of those maps where even if you can play low approach rate reading, sometimes it just doesn't matter, because this one is something that rewards practice a lot, rewards you being very comfortable on the map overall. It's got these ridiculously difficult overlapping streams that double back on themselves, which on low approach rate can be really, really tricky, especially with, you're playing a 6.8 star flow aim stream map, right? The flow aim on this is not simple at all, and there come the first couple of sets of streams, both players handling them just fine, but there's those first overlapping streams, and Amamya Kokoro, the first to go down. Not a good start for him. FlyingTuna will match the break. So we'll see how long Amamya Kokoro can hold on to some combo lead here with a little bit of an advantage. FlyingTuna now missing once again. The accuracy relatively even, within a % difference for both of these two. But FlyingTuna just finding miss after miss now. Not super comfortable here in the middle section.
Yeah, Amamya Kokoro got a bit of a combo together there, but it does look like both these players are very even on the comfort. They are both... you know, the no mod gimmick enjoyers put a lot of practice into these. I know Tuna definitely does in tournament. It's showing, but you can see they are trading blows neck and neck on this one.
Another set of those overlapping double back streams, and both players hitting it just fine. Tuna with the combo advantage with a slight ACK lead as well. Out ahead now in score once again. And Amamya Kokoro, yeah, holding on to the combo now, does finally find a miss for Tuna. So Amamya Kokoro with the chance to bring some of this score lead back, but it's not going to be nearly the decisive one-sided win we saw on the previous map for FlyingTuna. This is still very, very close. Only a 5,000, 10,000 score difference right now for Amamya Kokoro. It is going up here at the end as he continues to combo through this hardest section of the map. Is popping off here at the end. This is a very, very good ending. I mean, look at the streams, look at the wiggles here at the end. An absolutely solid ending here for Amamya Kokoro, and does extend that score lead up to about 100k. So it's not going to be a 200,000 plus score lead like we saw for FlyingTuna on the previous map, but it is going to chunk down that score lead quite a bit here for Amamya Kokoro.
Pop off at the end did so much work. Tuna really struggled there. He improved his score quite a bit off the last one too that he played for that one. But a great ending there from Amamya. Doing so much work, 130k? And if he gets a good run here, he's going to be right back in it after that speed map. So far so good for Amamya so far, I think.
And just like that, we're right into the Hidden 2. Again, all the maps were pre-drafted before any of the picks got started. So we're right into Amamya Kokoro's second pick. Amamya Kokoro getting 2 picks in a row here. Needs to create some kind of a score lead for himself, I think, going into the next DT pick for FlyingTuna. We'll see if he's able to do that here on Bestrafung. This is a custom, I think, from OWC 2021, if I remember right. Would have been Grand Finals Hidden 2 in that tournament.
Yeah.
Once again, in the Hidden 2 slot here is a low approach rate reading pick. A relatively awkward aim mechanics focused sort of Hidden 2 here. Both players should be pretty comfortable on this, and you can see the comfort for both of them very high at the moment. 99% FC for FlyingTuna, 97% reverse choke. Still on a very good score for Amamya Kokoro, but there's a break on a Buzz Slider, and now combo lead squarely with FlyingTuna going into this next aim section. Not having any trouble whatsoever so far with this map. It's still a 99.4% FC for FlyingTuna here. Just no trouble at all, and another break coming through for Amamya Kokoro, and this might have been a bit of a backfired pick for Amamya Kokoro. We're not quite halfway through. There's still a lot of time left in the map, but this is a very, very good start on this pick for FlyingTuna, already an 80,000 score lead.
Yeah, Tuna is popping off. Like, this is a very good start. This map is super hard on this linear aim, and Tuna is making it look ordinary. This is a great score so far. The patterns don't stop, though. He finally gets the breaks. He's not going to get too far away, but what a start there.
Yeah, and with another break coming through for Amamya Kokoro, even with the drop for FlyingTuna, the accuracy tells a story all its own. The PP counter tells a story all its own. And FlyingTuna is just still way out ahead. Another 100k score lead. I mean, the gap that was built on Mad Piano Party is just completely gone and way back in the favor of FlyingTuna now. Similar to the gap he made just after the DT pick on his first pick. So Amamya Kokoro isn't able to combo and find another God Mode ending here on this map to bring some of that score back down, forget about getting rid of the score gap. He's going to be on the receiving end of another gap here. And Amamya Kokoro really needs to turn it on here, so let's see how well he can do at the ending here. Another break for FlyingTuna is good for Amamya Kokoro. Some more of these wide-angle linear jumps. The pattern aim here at the end, the anti-aim pattern's also coming through, and Amamya Kokoro hitting all of it so far. The God Mode is happening. Can he finally pull this back here? It's still a 50k score difference, but the combo's still going for Amamya Kokoro. And suddenly it's down to about 40k, still going strong for both of these players. FlyingTuna has recovered the combo. There's finally a miss for Amamya Kokoro, and now it's in FlyingTuna's court once again, just extending the score lead as much as possible here near the ending.
Another great ending here from Amamya is going to be saving himself somewhat. He is going to be behind though, so in the end of the day, this is all looking Gucci for Tuna. Great attempt though, and a really good score from both these two by the end of that. But what an opening on that pick from Tuna. That was a crazy first half from him.
Absolutely. I mean, what was that, 600 or so max combo by the end of the map? 670 max combo, all right at the start there. FlyingTuna just turning it on right as the map begins and rewarded for it. Now, again, up 190,000 score. It's been 2 picks for Amamya Kokoro and 1 pick for FlyingTuna. So call it a break point, call it what you want, but it's 190,000 cumulative score lead for FlyingTuna here going into the next DT pick in the DT1, Competo Retrotica. This is a mostly aim-focused DT pick, if memory serves. 270 BPM DT aim, the name of the game on this one. 8.1 stars as well. AR 10.4, OD 10.4 as well. So this is definitely a tough DT map. It's maybe a little bit more accessible for Amamya Kokoro than something like the DT3 was. Not as speed focused, a lot more aim focused. Both of these players, of course, very good on that. But FlyingTuna, again, generally more comfortable with those higher BPMs as opposed to Amamya Kokoro, who, has had a lot of practice on the long stream stamina, around 220 BPM or so, but is not quite as well versed on the super high BPMs like the 250, 260, 270. So I think, again, FlyingTuna expected to come out with a score lead here, and that leaves only 3 maps left at the end for Amamya Kokoro to try and claw back as much of that score lead as possible. So FlyingTuna looking to take advantage of this DT pick and the already existing score lead as much as possible going into it.
Yeah, like, Tuna's already had a really good score on this. He got nearly 1 million in his last time he played this. Amamya double banned this. So, yeah, Amamya's going to have to find something here. He's going to have to be careful. Not sure what's going on there, though. Is he having a couple issues, Amamya Kokoro? What's going on there?
Have to imagine so. Also, the score is going the wrong way, which is absolutely wild. I've never seen that before. That's got to be a new Lazer exclusive 30 client bug. I'm sure we're going to get an abort here at some point because there's no way we would want this map to count with Amamya Kokoro having not played a single note since the very start of the map. So hopefully we can get an abort, restart the map, and get it replayed. In the meantime, Tuna getting some good practice in on this map, still holding the full combo, no misses so far, 98.7 accuracy. So very good practice run here for Tuna. Unfortunately unaware of the...
Wait, I think the client is spectating the ref there. Amamya is playing. I think it's just a client moment.
That would make sense.
They are both playing.
That's a new one. That's a new one there. All right.
So, okay, it is there. Just Amamya is having a cheeky playoff stream there. It's fine. I guess we'll get that going and we'll see where they stand. But, hey, Tuna opening up well there. Still FCing. I mean, ultimately, whatever Amamya is doing off stream, it's going to have to be a pop-off score, I think, for him, because Tuna has already popped off on this before, and he's doing so again.
Yeah, and with the score going up for red team, I don't even know if that's necessarily Tuna. It might just be Amamya Kokoro over there. Does finally find a break, whoever that is. We'll see at the end. It does display the player name at the very end of the map. One significant difference with the normal tournament clients is that on Lazer, when you are Lazer spectating, it does not display the names of each player live. Part of what led to the confusion, I suppose. But this is a very good score for whoever this is. Just a one miss choke so far. And is going to have a really, really good ending as well. 930k there by the end for FlyingTuna, it looks like. Shadoo's, better luck next time, buddy. Better luck next time. Good effort, though.
An attempt was made to autopilot that. You should have hit tab, mate. What are you doing? So, yeah, how did Amamya do on that? You're probably going to have to hear from staff on that one. But 930k is a very solid score. Did Amamya get close to that? I think he really does need to. How are we looking?
Just looking at the MP link, it does look like actually Amamya Kokoro may have had a slightly better score. I believe the score lead went down to about 150,000, or no, that is 250,000. So was a bit of a win for FlyingTuna, but not a huge one. So 250,000 total score lead for FlyingTuna now. 3.1 million total score to 2.85 million total score, just looking at the MP link for this lobby. So a bit of a score lead there for FlyingTuna. I believe that would have been about a 60k score lead. So probably still around 900k there for Amamya Kokoro, which is, again, a very, very good score.
Yeah, 865k for Amamya Kokoro, so actually a very good fight on that. Fair play to Amamya Kokoro, still keeping it close. Those are two very good scores again. I do actually, I wonder if it's just the opponents Amamya was facing, because with a score like that, I reckon he would have been okay. So, it's still all to play for, but no doubt, Tuna has a little bit of insurance. But these next few picks are, I don't know if they're really favourite to anyone. It's going to come down to how they are doing right now. And there's quite a few maps to go. I'm really curious to see how those last few play out.
I want to see how this goes as well, because Torioka, the hidden one, this is 256 BPM, you know, high density, high speed aim with quite a lot of bursts in it as well. So this is somewhat similar in map style to the DT1 that we just saw. And with FlyingTuna winning that, you know, it's not by a considerable margin, but I guess it's a question of how much did the high AR play into that? How much can the hidden play into this map? Because the overall map style is going to be relatively similar here. A little bit more pattern complexity, this being a hidden pick rather than a double time pick. So the overall map just has to be a little bit more complex when you get this higher star rating without mods, or without difficulty enhancing mods. So we'll see how much the hidden and the map complexity can play into it here for Amamya Kokoro, but FlyingTuna right on the heels here at the start. Both players holding on to the full combo with pretty good accuracy at the beginning of this hidden one pick. And as you said, Amamya Kokoro only 2 maps and a tiebreaker left to pull back a 255,000 score lead. So has to make the most of this pick. This is his last pick before the end of the match.
At the moment, nothing really between these two. A little bit of accuracy, but it's really nothing to write home about. I mean, after coming off of that double time 1, it's a great warm-up into something like this, because that's 270. This has got a lot more bursts in it, though, compared to that DT1. But it looks like Amamya Kokoro and Tuna are handling them, well, very well.
Now the burstiness almost feels maybe a little bit better for FlyingTuna. Again, a little bit more comfortable on the higher BPMs, of course, with Amamya Kokoro. You know, double banning DT, not having a great time on the DT3, losing out on the DT1. You almost favor Tuna on some of these higher BPM picks, which, again, I think it just goes to the modification and the comfort on the map, because obviously this being Amamya Kokoro's pick has to feel good on this map. So definitely to do with the mod comfort and the map style comfort here. Both players still, though, on the full combo. It is neck and neck right now. Going into the second PI time now, just over halfway through. Both of them still just comboing this with a Blom. No shakes, no issues for either of them. 99% locked in for both players as well. There's the first miss, and it's from Amamya Kokoro. FlyingTuna makes it through that section, and this map now and the match overall completely in his control. 1300 combo and climbing still on the FC. And FlyingTuna, once again, you can take a break for military, you can come back after a couple of years, but one of the greatest of all time here to show them how it's done once again for the newer generation.
Man, Tuna is an evergreen player for sure, and he just performs so well on everything. That was a tense, like, staring contest on that one. Both of these players did so good on that. Amamya is the first to blink, though, and yeah. Now that's a bit of a mountain to climb now for Amamya Kokoro. 100k and still rising for FlyingTuna here.
This score is just ridiculous, by the way. 99.2 AC for FlyingTuna. Still on the FC. I just want to see if he's able to finish it out at this point, because I mean, the map is already basically over. It's another 150,000 score lead for FlyingTuna on this pick. He's going to be up a cumulative 400,000 going into his own last pick here after this map. And this is now just a little out of control for Amamya Kokoro.
No.
Tuna finally finds a miss there right at the end of the map. Only 15 seconds left, but it's still an absolutely absurd score here for FlyingTuna. Once again, an evergreen player, one of the greatest to ever do it in tournaments, one of the best 1v1 tournament players, going back to a few years ago when he was truly active in the tournament scene. Just showing how it's done here. A 400,000 cumulative score lead for FlyingTuna going into his own last pick in the Nomad 3.
Another set of amazing scores. That score from Amamya Kokoro was top 10 on the map. FlyingTuna there with his accuracy was challenging for number 1 with that AC. It's a shame he broke it, but just insane stuff. And now, yeah, going into the Nomad 3, Tuna is holding all of the aces.
An apt description here on this map. It is Draw Me a Map, Let Me Feel the Tap by Kabocha. I believe this was an original song in Course Ace Open 2022, if memory serves. Nomad 3 with a twist. A lot of that standard aim control, alt-focused patterning that you would usually expect to see in the slot, with a little bit of finger control rhythm as well. FlyingTuna, of course, a very, very good alt player. Alt and tech, kind of the specialty for him before he started speccing into the speed a little bit more. And this map, no exception to that rule as well. Do want to shout out, Amamya Kokoro still got a very good score on the previous map. I mean, it was 700, 800k. Still a very, very solid run for him. It was just FlyingTuna with an absolute pop-off. So, and unfortunately for Amamya Kokoro, early lead here for FlyingTuna on this pick as well. Some of the wiggles and flow-focused aim control patterning in this map looking very good for FlyingTuna. 99 AC on both players, though, so if there is a drop for FlyingTuna, Amamya Kokoro can take advantage, but it's another miss for Kokoro, and maybe his heart just not built to take this kind of stress level, because right now FlyingTuna just completely in control once again. Does find a break, though, and now slight combo lead back the way of Amamya Kokoro. There is a long time left in the map. It's still a minute to go, so we'll see how much of that score lead Amamya Kokoro can claw back.
He's still got the accuracy, so he's bang on with the accuracy side of things. He does get the breakdown on those wiggle ult patterns, so he's not going to be gaining much. It's advantage Tuna again. It's incredibly close, but just a little bit more on this one, it seems, for Tuna, and another chance for a comeback stemmed here, it looks like.
At this point, this score lead now looking above 500k total for FlyingTuna going into the tiebreaker. You don't want to call it until the fat lady sings, but she's prepping the voice right now. She's doing some exercises. She's clearing her throat because FlyingTuna has just made the back half of this match look like a clinic here. It's been very good scores for Amamya Kokoro. None of the scores that he has dropped have been bad whatsoever. Again, 700K on this pick once again. But FlyingTuna every time is just out ahead by a pretty good margin, 100K on nearly every map in the back half of this match. And FlyingTuna rewarded for it in spades. 514,000 score lead going into the tiebreaker pick. And, you know, it's not over till it's over, but this is looking pretty close to it, that's for sure.
Now, yeah, we're going into some slider tech like this. The accuracy is so important on this because the crazy SVs can be very hard to act, but both these two are well suited to act this. That's a lot of score to make up. Amamya Kokoro is going to have to do something very special here. All FlyingTuna really needs to do is just hold his nerve and post like a fairly decent score, bank his spot in the grand final.
Yeah, all he has to do is really get above 450K or so, and he is good. Once you hit that score mark for FlyingTuna, there is no way to win this match for Amamya Kokoro. He has to win this pick by 515,000 points, which is an immense number, especially against someone like FlyingTuna, who has been playing as well as Tuna has all match. And on a tech pick again, one of the former specialties for FlyingTuna, something that he is still world renowned for here. So this is going to be a very tall ask for Amamya Kokoro. Almost has to full combo this map to have any chance at making it into the grand finals on the winner's side, and has to hope for repeated breaks from FlyingTuna. But 45 seconds into an only 2 minute and 15 second map, both players still full comboing. Better act for FlyingTuna means that this is not looking super great for Amamya Kokoro, but there's a break for both players. FlyingTuna and Amamya both finding that break. And well, again, Amamya Kokoro basically had to full combo this and just pray for as many misses as possible from FlyingTuna, and that's not going to happen. Tuna now closing in on that 450K mark, where we said at that point the match is basically over, and the fat lady, she has started a singing. It's going to be FlyingTuna taking this match. The question is just how much of a score lead can he put up by the end of it, as more misses come through for Amamya Kokoro, and FlyingTuna still comboing through that ridiculous Axel decel slider stream section.
He's still got 99% as well. He's going nuts on this map here. Amamya Kokoro was holding 99 for a while as well, but just lost the flow. Tuna, though, still going. Amamya Kokoro, seed 1. He's got every chance, and he's going to be in that losers bracket final played straight after this, so he'll get a second wind. But Tuna, the veteran, the evergreen player, it looks like he's going to be the one on the winner's side of this grand final, the first ever LGA. And I couldn't be happier for him, man. I'm so glad to see him performing this well.
Can take the Tuna out of the tournaments for a year, but you can't take the tournaments out of the Tuna. He's still got it after all this time. It comes back after military. Gets a while to get back into the swing of things, that's for sure. Has been very active in tournaments since his return, and is still looking just as strong as he was before that break as well. FlyingTuna just crushing that match. I mean, it was, of course, very good scores from Amamya Kokoro as well. Both of these players are absolutely ridiculously good, but FlyingTuna just ahead on it felt like almost every map there, and rewarded for it with, what was that score lead by the end of the match? 650,000 score, or close to it? Yeah, 630,000 score lead for FlyingTuna by the end of that, which is a massive margin of victory there.
5.6 million total. That's the highest we've seen. That is the best performance we've seen in this tournament so far. Imagine getting 5 million and losing a match. Amamya Kokoro has been playing so well, so consistently. And like I said, he's not out. He's going to be in that losers bracket grand final played at 14 UTC in 25 minutes. So a little bit of a break before he goes again. But Tuna is definitely the one to be on the performances he's been putting out.
Absolutely. He's making a very good case for being on the winner's side of that grand finals. We do, of course, have another couple of matches remaining for you here. Starting in about 25 minutes, we have the losers bracket grand finals between Amamya Kokoro, who just lost to FlyingTuna, and AKNZX, who last round in the semifinals also lost to FlyingTuna. So these two players have not faced off each other yet at all throughout this tournament. It's going to be a brand new matchup to decide who gets their rematch, who gets the salty run back versus FlyingTuna in the grand finals, which will again directly follow that losers bracket final. So we're going to have Amamya Kokoro versus AKNZX coming up in 25 minutes, and then directly following that match, we'll have the grand finals between FlyingTuna and the winner of this upcoming losers bracket grand finals. So stick around for the next couple of hours. We've got a bunch of good matches coming up for you right away here on the Lazer Grand Arena.
It is all happening. Also, we have some original tracks in the grand finals pool. They will be appearing. Stay tuned for that. 25 minutes from now, more Lazer Grand Arena coming at you. Stay tuned.